1:8, we pretty well covered Jerusalem. But now we move into Judea. The command of the Lord was very plain. You know, you can't just stop at your own front door. There are things that needs to be done. Now, Judea for Jesus is where what he called home. 90% of Jesus' life was spent in the Judea region. He traveled back and forth, and he went on up to Samaria, and went up to the other part of there. Three parts, what's the other one? I can't think. But anyway, he traveled back and forth on that little area right next to the Jordan River. But Judea is where he spent most of his life. So you and I are going to spend most of our lives in our state. And we're going to have to be accountable to God by what we do as far as what we do in our own backyard. I think it's exciting to jump on an airplane and go overseas. I think it's exciting to jump in a bus and go to another part of the country and work. But we have to take care of the area around us. Now, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to share with you the areas that we work, but I'm also going to share with you some areas that we need to work. And just pray about these, let them become part of your prayer life, and maybe God will joke you in the middle of the night and tell you, you know, this is something that you need to be a part of. You know, God does that, right? All through the Bible, He done this all the time. He woke many people up in the middle of the night, right? He woke little Samuel up in the middle of the night, called him his name. Samuel didn't know it was God. So He still does that. So you're going to be laying up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden you're going to hear your name, and He's calling you to do something. Amen? Now what that is between you and Him, I don't know. But something for His glory. So Acts 1:8. Or 8:1, yeah, 1:8, sorry. Acts 1:8, we covered Jerusalem pretty good. I think we can pat ourselves on the back for what we did there. Okay? But now let's talk about Judea, okay? The things that we do in Judea. Now, it was mentioned, and some of these things we've talked about previously, but we're going to go into detail on. The prison packs, a very good ministry for our state. There are 21,000 inmates in 21 institutions in the state of South Carolina. Last year, there was 25,000 prison packs gathered. Now, if you have never been to St. Andrew's Baptist Church, where all this takes place, you ought to go sometime. I had the privilege of taking all the prison packs from the association up one year. And you walk into this big room and you have never seen so many prison packs and so many little elves running around in all of your lives. The volunteers are looking at these packs that have come in from all over the state, and they're getting these prepared to go to the prisons. Now they're doing two things. They're checking all the items in the packs. If any items are missing or there's items there that shouldn't be there, that pack is discarded. That's why it is so important to put exactly what you're supposed to put in the prison pack. And then they will add a Christmas card, and they will add a gospel booklet that has Bible verses to minister to those prisoners. Okay? Now, like I said, there's 25,000, so what do they do with the extra? Those are set aside, and any inmates who come into the prison after the date that they are handed out, they are given one, and usually all of the 25,000 are used. Now, that's the prison ministry that has blessed our state. It was started in 1976. Now, does anybody have anything mentioned about that? It's a joint convention it's a joint ministry of the Baptist Convention and the WMU. You see the WMU's footprint on everything that we do. You'll find that out more in a minute. Does anybody have any comments on that? Yes, ma'am.
They're actually now getting more prisoner packs than they're able to use, so they're dividing up the ministry and doing some backpacks for Appalachia. You look at today's, the link that came out, it'll tell you all about that. But
What
they
is the
still
due date on
want,
the prison
they still
packs?
want prisoner packs. They just don't need the extent of what they've been given them.
Okay.
Some churches are just doing, thousands.
Very good. What does our churches go?
I think it's 30 for this.
30? What does the association go? You know?
I don't know that.
I don't either. But anyway, it's better to have too much than not enough. And basically, we are
But
covering
if
that.
you prisoner packs than just do one backpack.
All right? But let me share with you some things along that line. I understand it's important for the prison packs, but you know, there's so much other things available for us to do for prisoners. Now, admittedly, we try to shy away from those kind of folks, and we all have prisoners. But listen, there's things that you can be involved in that the Southern Baptist has going on. There's the Kairos ministry. Kairos means God's special time. Now, Kairos is not a Baptist work, but it is a Christian work that the Baptists are involved in. What is it? Well, with the special training, you can become a group of ladies or men that we have a large group around here that goes in once a month to the prisons, to a designated prison. The ladies goes in and ministers to the ladies, the men goes in and ministers to the men, and you can have Bible study, you can have fellowship, and you usually take food with you. Cookies, they love homemade cookies. And so what you do on a designated date, several women or several men, after you have been trained, goes in, has Bible study, fellowships, and gives cookies. That's the Kairos ministries, okay? That is something that's very, very important. Now, if you don't want to go to that extent, you do know there's an opportunity for you to minister at the Orangeburg County Jail. All you have to do is have credentials and permission from your church to go in. And if you go in there, you can have a Bible study. Now let me tell you the necessity of that. Because Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, all are going in and having Bible studies. Now when you're in a prison, you'll go sit under anybody to get out of that jail cell for a while. I promise you. So Christians need to take up the slack. And if you walk in, they have a little chapel set up, and they have a whole line of Gideon Bibles that they can use in Bible study. But that's something that can be done without a lot of extensive training, okay? You can set up a time, get the credentials for your church, and go and minister. Now, there's also a program connected with this called Jumpstart. What is Jumpstart? This is a Baptist program that is used to reach people who've been in prison, incarcerated, but now they're on the outside. You can be given the names of the people who've been released from prison out in your community. And yes, they're all around us. And you set up an opportunity through training now, to go and minister to these folks, okay? There's 100+ volunteers. There's 4,900 people in the program, and they minister to about 2,000 people. There's been 2,000 that's graduated. You see, the prisoner actually has to sign that they would like to be reached out to. And once they sign that paper, then you have an opportunity to minister to them, to get them incorporated in the church. But this is a great opportunity to reach people. Now, what are we going to do? Well, they're a convict. Well, they leave them alone, you know. Now, that's the good old Christian way, ain't it? We don't want to have one church full of a bunch of convicts, right? Well, you know, somewhere along the line, we have to take the example of Jesus, who got talked about because he fellowshiped with sinners. Amen? I'm sure there were some convicts that the Lord fellowshiped with. Don't you think so? So Jumpstart is a tremendous program that follows up with the prison packs and the Kairos ministry. Okay? All right, another ministry that is promoted primarily by the WMU. Like I told you, they got their footprint on everything. It's called the Seafarers Ministry. It was in our Baptist book that we received at the associational meeting. They actually have an address down in Charleston. It's on Azalea Street. And if you've never thought about it, this is a tremendous ministry to people all over the world. You see, 25,000 people come into the ports of Charleston every year from all over the world. What do they want from you and I? Well, you don't necessarily have to have contact with the seafarers unless you want to be out there handing out packs. But you can contribute Bibles. They need Bibles from every language. They need magazines in every language. They need cookbooks in every language. And you can actually contribute blank CDs. And these CDs are translated, or takes the gospel and translated into the language of some of the people that's getting off those boats that don't speak English, in a way to reach out to them. They also create care packages. And these care packages, you can go down to the boat, and what's in them? Toiletries, deodorant, shave cream, razors, all of things like that. And you can actually pass them out to the boat people when they get off. It's called the Seafarers Ministry. Anybody ever heard of that?
No.
Anybody ever been involved in that? I think that's something good for the young people. I really, really do. But anyway, that's something that's a need, okay? It's something that we can be involved with, okay? Any questions so far? All right. New Work Ministry. I want to spend a few minutes on this. There's 2,200 churches in the state of South Carolina. More or less 2,200. As far as I know, there's only 12 new works that are going on in the state, okay? You have an opportunity as a church to go to the convention and say, I want a partnership with one of these new works. You do that, and you can become anything that they need you to become. You can just become a prayer partner, and you can start working with these new works. Now, new works is something that's been dear to me, and we have attempted 3 new works in the 24 years that I have been here, okay? The first one was the Croatan Indian Mission. How many of you remember that? We adopted them, we ordained their pastor, Harold Mims, and the Baptist Convention got on board and started paying his salary, and he was bivocational. But they met on a little Indian reservation. We found out that the Croatan Indians is one of the most populated Indian tribes in the Orangeburg County. Well, today it is folded. They were meeting on the tribal reservation right there next to Edison River on Lake Drive. That's tribal land. The building burned and pretty much folded. We used to work with them. They used to be a part of our fellowship on Thanksgiving and special days they would come. But as of today, the Croatan Indian Mission has folded. So that's one failed ministry. The other one was the Petra work. Petra Community Church. That was the first Southern Baptist, first black Southern Baptist church ever to be organized in the Orangeburg area. Now, it wasn't a church. It was chartered as a mission. Okay? Never was constituted. And Providence became the front runner in this. Okay? We again became part of his work. He met 3 different locations. Brother David Miller was the ordained minister. They met at Crestview, they met at the association office, and they met at the school. And then about 6, 7, maybe more years ago, Petra folded, simply because they couldn't maintain it. It wasn't long after Petra became a mission that I got a phone call from the Times of the Democrats. They wanted to come and interview me about the African American Southern Baptist Church that we had started. Now, understand this was an associational work, but Providence was the forefront. The first message that he preached in the Southern Baptist Church was in this pulpit. Well, I was very scared. Okay, he was a black man. He's coming to interview me. Why were we trying to start specifically a black Southern Baptist church in the area? Well, I was scared because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So I stuck with the narrative. I said, we wanted to start a church that was totally dedicated to evangelism and missions, which Southern Baptists started. Okay, I never varied. He tried to get me to deviate from that, I promise. He tried to tell me, he said, well, there's other churches that start, but there are always a language barrier. There's no language barriers. So I know that there's folks who are African American who have never known the doors of a white church, and we want to reach them with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, I explained to the reporter, listen, it's all our fault. The reason the black churches are in the condition they are in today, and they are in our condition, there's not a lot of evangelism and missions goes on in black congregations, okay? But it's our fault, because it was not until 1965 that we would allow black people to go to the Southern Baptist Seminary. Did y'all know that? That's the truth. And so we've created most of this problem. Anyway, that was the creation, that was the start, but Petra also folded. Now, the third work that we tried to start, or how to be a part of it, was the Hispanic ministry. We did some exploration to find out about how many Hispanics were in our areas. I sent off and got the demographics of our area, and the demographics showed that within 10 years, our population was going to be made up of 35% Hispanics. Okay, well, we need to do Hispanic work, right? We need to reach you, okay, there's a language barrier. So I got hold of a gentleman that goes to Jesus Loves You Baptist Church in Aiken, which is an Hispanic church. He happened to be kin to Daisy and Doris Hooker. He was Daisy's son-in-law. And he came over here, and we went to the sharecroppers, and we gave them gifts. I think the WMU's created whatever we gave them, boxes of food and packages. And we shared the gospel with them, and we kind of quizzed them, would you come to a church if we started it? Well, they weren't interested, predominantly because they were mostly Catholic. Okay, that's the reason they gave. Well, we're Catholic, we go to church, we'll go to the Catholic church. That became the reason we backed off. All right, it didn't fall through. There was a gentleman from Columbia, don't remember his name, but he came down here to basically minister to the Hispanics. He started meeting on Sunday afternoons at Northside Baptist Church. He ministered to them, they had church, then they had Wednesday night prayer meeting on Thursday. Now the reason they had it on Thursday is so they wouldn't conflict with the prayer meetings in other churches. And our young people, basically Brandon Lorrick and Zenas Breslin, every Thursday would go to Highland Baptist Church, and they would help the pastor, Stephen Broom, minister to them. Well, what ended that was the pastor, Stephen Broom, was asked to leave. And so when he left Highland, that pretty much ended the ministry. The pastor that was coming down from Columbia, he moved away. And so today there is no work for reaching the Hispanics in our area. None at all. And, you know, I think we need to pray about it. Listen, new work is something I think we all be a part of. You say, well, do we really need a new church? Well, here's what we don't need. Baptists always start churches from splits. We don't need that. What we need to do, friends, is to reach the people that we're not reaching, whoever that might be. If they're of another ethnic group and they don't feel coming to our church, let's start a black congregation. I have no opposition to that. Let's start an Hispanic church because we need to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. We found out that, you know, there's, I guess, maybe 100 trailers. There's a humongous trailer park behind Highland Baptist. That's where Miss Gill lives. That's where Lisa lives. And a lot of those people that live there are Hispanics. Maybe we need to get somebody who is well-versed in Spanish, go over there, and we could do a Bible school sometime. I really do believe that we ought to be doing some things outside of this church. A satellite Sunday school like we do at Riverside, or maybe a satellite Bible school. I think it would be good if we could do about 2 Bible schools every year. We could do one here and one somewhere else, wherever that might be. Now, you talk back to me. Yes, sir.
The road before, the road leaving the village,
Yes, sir.
same direction. There's a trailer park back in there also. I don't know what the one we're speaking of.
There's a what back in there?
Yeah.
All of the, there's a lot of folks back in there, a lot of them. Anybody have any comments on that whatsoever? Okay, so that's an area that we have failed, but we have tried, and we should be open to doing something in the New Work area. Why? Because that's what the Lord wants us to do. We don't have to necessarily plant a church in Orangeburg, but we could do it somewhere else, or we could partner with some other churches. All right, let me move on.
Is there a church building that they if we found someone to do this?
I got 2 more things I want to talk about, and I don't want to run out of time. The 4th work that goes on in our state is disaster relief. How many of you have ever been a part of the Baptist Disaster Relief Program? Bud? Diane? Okay. All right, let me fill in the blanks on this for you, okay? It is basically a men's ministry program. It is supported in 2 ways. It is supported, guess what, from the Janie Chapman offering, and it is supported by donations that comes in to keep them afloat. Here's what the Baptist Disaster Relief is all about within the confines of our state. Usually, they don't go outside of the state unless an emergency happens, and then they might go to somewhere like Houston or somewhere else, okay? There are 4 units. There's an incident unit that's signed up, and it's basically to take paperwork if there happens to be a family that needs food or shelter or anything like that. there's the first response unit. There are 3 of those in the state of South Carolina. They are all basically called chainsaw units, okay? They have chainsaws and tarps, and they're the first ones there. And you can be a part of that group. If you can't run a chainsaw, you can be a brush puller. And that's basically what they're doing. There are 5 feeding stations in the state of South Carolina, okay? 5 feeding stations, and each station has 3 teams, A team, B team, and C team. There's 3 in the upstate, 2 down in the lower state, okay? There used to be a team from First Baptist St. Matthews. I don't know if they still exist or not. But anybody who had a desire could become a part of these teams with the proper training. And then when a disaster hits, like a tornado or a hurricane, one of those units goes up and they set up to feed, and the unit will work anywhere from 3 to 7 days, and then another unit of Team B would come in and relieve them. Then Team C would relieve them, depending on how long they have to be set up. They get food donations from everywhere. They get food from the Red Cross. They get food from the Salvation Army. They get food from donations from the Baptists. Okay, but they very much operate in a real good fashion, and it's one of the strongest witnesses I think that we have in the state when trouble or crisis happens. Okay, the next training to be a member of a response team is November the 9th at the Baptist Building. I've had this training. I've had 3 trainings. I've had communications, I've had mud out, what's the third one? And I've had chaplaincy training. Couldn't remember that one. But anyway, you can become a part. All you have to do is sign on the dotted line and take the training. Now, I will tell you this. You have to be ready to go at a moment's notice. If you said, I want to be a part of this team, you almost have to have a suitcase packed in the closet. You have to be able to leave within 48 hours. Okay? But it is a tremendous work that the Southern Baptists do. There's chaplaincy training, there's children response training, there's communication training, and then there's general volunteers, which do everything in between. From cleaning houses, to cleaning mud out of houses, to cutting trees down. Okay? Anything else?
Did the Baptist all of a sudden drop Nick McMillan and his ministry, or what happened to that?
Say that again.
Nate McMillan.
He's still,
The association wanted to start a black Southern Baptist church in Orangeburg, okay? Nate McMillan was chosen as the one to become the pastor. I can't tell you whether he volunteered or not, but he was ordained. I helped with his ordination, and he worked this church. He received donations from the association and support from all the churches. We helped him tremendously, not money-wise, but people-wise.
I thought we did.
And it just never got off the ground, and it folded, and today he's involved in collegiate ministry. He's no longer pastoring the church. Okay? And that is probably going to be the only attempt in my lifetime, in your lifetime, of starting a black Southern Baptist church. Now, there's pros and cons to say whether there should be a black Baptist church, because, you know, why don't we just integrate them in our church? Yeah, that's accepted. However, we felt that a black congregation could go into these areas and do things in these areas where we couldn't reach. That's what we felt. And we could have missions and evangelism among the black folks. Okay? Right? Any other questions? For good or for real, that's the way it got started. All right, one other area, and all of us contribute to this, and this will conclude my time with you as far as what we do in the state. Janie Chapman, anybody ever heard of her? She was the first WMU president in the state of South Carolina. She was a preacher's wife, and that's why the Janie Chapman Offering is named after her. Our state goal this year was $1,800,000. We contributed $1,800. That's what is that, 0.1%? Is that right? Somebody got a good math mind, somewhere around that? Or is that even close? Maybe it's 100%. I don't know. But anyway, churches contributed, and I don't even know if we reached our goal, because a lot of churches are still collecting. Okay? Some of them, they put a goal and they just keep getting money. We're not like that. We close our out. But anyway, we do do outreach through Janie Chapman. Would you like to know how that money is used? Well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway, okay? This is how the money is spent. There are 7 areas. It's called the WMU work, the association work, the start work, the strength work, the share work, the send work, and the serve work. It says serve the lost, send to the lost, share with the lost, strengthen the lost, start new works, do associational partnerships, and do WMU. Okay. The big 3 is these. $633,000 is used basically to support the WMU. Okay, that's the biggest chunk of change. It takes care of administrative duties. Okay, it is what runs Camp Levita. It takes care of mail-outs, tools for to promote whatever they have to create. Okay, and of course, if there's anybody who's staff, they pay their staff. They pay their salary. Okay, and they also, out of this money, runs the prison ministry. They pay for the cards and the Bible books to do in the prison ministry and the getting them to and from the prisons. Okay? The second biggest is the $340,000 that is used. It is basically used with associational partnership. Okay? That money goes to the state and is funneled down to the association to create programs for training. To train people who want to work for the Lord and to do discipleship training among the churches. Thirdly, $377,000 goes basically to start new works. Any new work in the area that needs to be started, there's an area, then that's what that money is allotted to help them pay the rent on buildings, to have literature, to supplement a pastor, or buy literature, anything that a new work happens to need. That's what that $300+ thousand is given to. Okay, $61,000 is given to strengthen the churches. They help create more worship-friendly atmospheres. Now, what they say about helping people learn to worship, they want the worship to be acceptable to lost people. When lost people come in, they want them to be able to kind of understand what's going on. So they teach worship, they teach discipleship, and their basic goal of that $61,000 is to reach the lost for Jesus Christ. Okay? $84,000 is given to share the lost. What does that do? That $84,000 runs Camp McCall. Now, how many of you know what Camp McCall is? That's the boys' camp, and the men's camp is up in the mountains next to Table Rock camp. Okay, that's what that's used for. And they also do campus ministry. They make sure there are placements of young people on the campuses to help. And if there's Christian colleges, they integrate into that, and they make sure there are people there ministered for the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And this is what I really felt interested. Out of the Janie Chapman, the $84,000 also supports the men's ministry. There's men's ministry that's going on. That's what it works on. $118,000 is basically used to support 3 things: the Seafarers ministry that we mentioned a while ago, the college campuses, and the training of workers. And then there's $153,000 that is given to meet needs of schools, refugees that come into our state, any special needs of students that don't fit into society, like autistic children, handicapped children, all those kind of things. That's what the $153,000 is used for. That's how your money will be spent this year. Any questions? Y'all got all that? Okay. That's it. That's what we do as a state. Now here's what I want us to do with this information. I want us to be proud of what we do as far as a state, what we do as a prison, but I think we ought to pray about going a little further. Not just give them a prison packet, but when these prisoners come into the society and to our community, we ought to reach out to them and try to get them into our church. And the third thing, I think we really ought to keep our eyes open, our spiritual eyes open, for where can we start something new for the glory of God. I've been preaching for 43 years. I can tell you this truthfully and wholeheartedly. There is never no more excitement in a congregation than when they start a new work. Now, John has been a part of that. John left Congaree to start Reachport Ministries. How many years ago was that, John?
I don't know, it's been a while.
Been a while ago, yeah, yeah. And y'all sustained y'all's ministry several, for quite a few years, right?
Yeah, I think, 5 years.
But then basically you saw the need to just,
Yeah, we were having a real hard time, getting the people, that were right there at that location, to integrate with us. You know, we had a few come, but they just, wouldn't stay, and wouldn't be, oriented
yeah,
towards worship service.
right.
We kept going and praying about it as long as we could. We had a book bag ministry that, we were known in that community for giving that out. It just wouldn't feel right.
I understand.
Started losing members and everything else like that there. So maybe it's the Lord telling us,
Yeah,
follow that.
yeah. Y'all never constituted, did you, as a church?
Yeah, I
Y'all
think,
did?
yeah, when we had Rock. And, we was going, he left, went to North Carolina.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that hurt y'all,
Yeah.
and when he left, yeah. Because you gotta have, you gotta have the people as far as leadership goes. I guess my heart hurts more about the Croydon work and the Petra work than anything. But what I was gonna say is there's a lot of enthusiasm if you can get the church behind the new work. Anywhere, wherever it is. I know there's a new work in Myrtle Beach, there's a new work in Charleston, there's one new work in Rock Hill, there's just new work, but there's not a lot now. But if to reach certain people, like the Hispanic, that's $10 an offering place, you know that, right? To reach certain people, you have to be able to have a vision. And I think that's part of the calling of reaching out to Judea. Even Samaria. Going above your Jerusalem and not be happy with just your congregation. Start another. Do something for the glory of God. New works are good. New works.
20 goes.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to say something that, we're talking about trying to get Hispanic people or whatever started, to get a church started. Jack's sister does something like home. She has the classes in her church. She teaches, like these people, she teaches the language, English language, she may have only 3 or 4 people come from different countries and all of them come in. And she works with them till they're able to maybe get their driver's license. Maybe just, but the Southern Baptist Convention office has someone that will come and train them to prepare. And we've got some retired teachers in our church and different people, maybe that will really be qualified to do that. And that's one way to make it.
Well, let me say this, okay? Now, the work that I have started West Virginia, it is still a church. We go to it every year. Covenant Baptist. They changed the name from Logan Baptist to Covenant Church because that's the kind of Baptist way. For some reason or other, they take the Baptist name out. They don't have a big congregation, but the church is there. However, it was brought to my attention by Miss Mary over there when we had the tent revival. She asked me, says, is there anybody coming to the tent that can sign? Because she had a deaf friend that she could bring to sign. Now, I don't know of a lot of deaf people in our area, but that might be an area that we might try to reach out and
I
create
promise you, if you said you got a
in our church.
translator at wherever you're going, no matter where you go.
What about here? What if we said we had a deaf translator for Sunday school?
I'm trying to find you somebody from there, she's already told me.
When I was in West Virginia, I actually taught a deaf Sunday school class.
That's
Now, I didn't do the signing. Another lady done the signing. All I did was the lesson.
But
But there was
see, she said
people-
that the word spreads, and they come, I promise you.
Out of 2 towns of about 40,000 people, I think we averaged about 15 people every night. We had Bible study on Tuesday nights, and they would come to the building, And that's what they wanted. They wanted to hear the Word of God, but they couldn't hear the Word of God. And somebody had to have a way to minister to that. That meant that somebody had to sign. Okay? Now, I don't know how many deaf people are around. I have no idea. I don't have the information on that. But maybe know the one. And this one, if we, like she said, if there was somebody in our church who could sign, then that might be a possibility of reaching out to those people.
Is there a way you can, speaking of demographics, is there a way you can find out through the,
They don't do demographics on that particular issue, or
they don't know
handicap.
Hispanics is? Like, you know, even the Hispanic people can hear, but they're probably using that AOS.
Sign language, I don't know.
You know, when I was at Congress, I did like a fun day over there at Rolling Meadows, I think it was. And when we got back there, you know, to advertise about it, I noticed that there were more Hispanic in there than there was, you know, anybody else. But, we had a good outreach in there. We did like a vacation.
Now, what did you do to reach the Hispanics?
Well, you know, I found out that the kids could speak better English and understand it better than the parents could. But, you know, we went on ahead and did it, but, I enjoy doing it, because I call this stuff, adventures with God.
Amen.
And, it's rewarding, but when you can't, break that, language barrier, that's where it just starts.
You have to have some kind of interpreter, whether it's with hands or whether it's with a language. You have to have that interpreter. And all you need is one.
Yeah.
You can do everything else through that one interpreter. You can do that. If you have the desire to see people come to Christ, you know, it's not like you. We don't need to be just a redneck Baptist church, you know. We need to think about the world around us. We need to do what we can to reach those who are unreachable. And the language barrier is a big one. Just look at Acts, you know, the Lord had to give them the ability to speak so everybody can hear it. All right, Tom, before we close, I'm going to put you and Dot on the spot. Now, you're from a larger congregation. Have y'all ever been done anything as far as language communication or signing or anything in y'all's church?
No.
None? Okay. Okay, so, all right, I'm through tonight. Anybody else have anything? Miss Harriet, yes, ma'am.
You know that they're trying to reopen the Samaritan House in Orangeburg. That is a big topic, because we used to.
Yes, ma'am, and I'm going to say something that I'm glad it's opening it up, but it's opening it up with federal money.
Well, they're trying to get the money. It won't, the last article I read last week, I think it was,
Yeah.
they said it would be March before they would know for sure.
Yeah.
But even if it is federally funded,
Yeah, well, anyway, it's good to get it opened back up. It is good to get it opened back up, and I just hate that the government's going to have its hands in it, but that was the way Orangeburg went, so anyway. I always got pet peeves that don't go along with anybody, you know, so anyway, that's kind of the life.
What is the American House?
Samaritan House is a homeless shelter. It's a home for anyone that, families that doesn't have any place else to go. Yeah.